Hello, I wanted to talk about mid-distance today. Mid-distance is, by my terminology, is rotation a half distance. Your knives, if you have developed a really basic throwing technique, you will have a short distance. For me, it's about 11 feet, and a longer distance, for me, is about 21 feet. Basically, that's one full rotation versus two full rotations. So as you move to the middle of that, you wind up with a rotation and a half. You're faced with a couple of choices about if you have to throw from that distance or somewhere close to that, how do you compensate? Four things to think about. One is a no spin throw. I don't do those, so you're not going to see it in this video. There's a lot of people who are much better at it than me. So the single rotation, which means I have to slow the knife down, otherwise it's going to go one whole time and then another half time, so I have to slow it down. Or I have to deal with the 1.5 rotations, which means I'll be throwing from the blade, or I have to double my rotation. So I've got a couple of things on the first one, the single rotation. 3 ways to approach that. One is you can put your finger on the back of the knife, and that's going to basically stroke the blade as it comes out of your hand. It's going to slow the rotation down. It's similar to what the no spin folks do. The next thing you can do is you can actually turn the knife 90 degrees in your hand, put your thumb on the back, put your thumb on the back and let it slide out of your hand. What that's going to do is your thumb's going to slow it down, plus you're going to catch a little bit more air with the throw, and how you position it in your hand makes quite a bit of difference. Still got to hit the target. Okay. The next thing you can do is, it's kind of counterintuitive, is you can actually choke up on the knife, which would make it seem like you're throwing a shorter knife, but in fact, as it's leaving your hand, it's sliding against your palm. It's going to slow down the rotation again. And I'm standing about 15 feet. Okay, so those are the 3 ways that I know of to slow down the single rotation. Then you get into the point throwing. I don't like to throw from the point, just because to me, I've got a blade in my hand, and my blades get a little chewed up when I'm throwing a lot. They stack into each other, so they can't have burrs on them. They're not terribly sharp. I mean, you can hold them, but it's that, what it doesn't allow me to do is to do what I like to do, which is let it slide out of my hand. These actually have to let go a little bit earlier. See if I can get one of these in. Okay, I'm going to go with that. So that was the rotation and a half. Now you get into the double rotation, which gets really tricky, and I may go through all the knives before I get one to stick. I may have to switch to more knives. Basically, what you're doing on that is you're adding a lot more flick to the knife, and I think I've said in the past, I don't like to flick the knife. It's highly unpredictable, and also you might add some arc to the knife, depending. But if you're going to, excuse me, mosquitoes. If you're going to get stuck with that, you might as well throw at your longer distance if you can. If you're stuck here, then you're going to have to really figure that out, and expect this to be a hot mess. There's a knife there. So that didn't work out very well. We'll switch to a shorter knife. Okay, so you can see it's highly unpredictable. I have another video where I was throwing the longs a little bit better, and I'll post that up as a follow-up. So you can see it's doable. It requires a lot more patience to figure out what that flick is, and then, like I said, that's hard to be predictable. So hopefully I got everything in frame this time. You're seeing like this much of my head. Thanks.